Hi, I'm Jesse, and I'm here today at Samovar Tea Lounge at 297 Page Street in San Francisco. And we're here to talk about tea and how to choose a tea that's right for you. Right now, we've got a lot of tea out here, and we have Hojicha, a roasted twig tea from Japan, Kukicha, a twig and leaf tea also from Japan, Earl Grey, a black tea infused with bergamot oil, Jasmine Pearl, this organic and certified fair trade green tea from China, is an individual pearl. Green tea, 2 leaves and a bud that have been hand rolled together and infused with jasmine flowers. You can see one of them right there. Golden Yunnan bud, a wiry type of Chinese black tea. Pu-erh with ginger and blood orange blend. Ryokucha, a genmai cha style rice, tea, and matcha powder green tea. Downy Sprout, which is a white tea from Fujian province in China. And lastly, Monkey Picked Iron Goddess of Mercy, a medium roasted oolong. A lot of tea, and probably a lot of questions. The first of which would start with, how do I choose? It's really not that hard. And the way that we do it here at Samovar is approaching it from a couple different angles. The first one is, how do you want to feel? Do you want to be uplifted and energized and ready to start your day? Or are you ready for bed? You want something to knock you out. Depending on how you want to feel, you would pick a tea with more or less caffeine. Very simple. The other way of choosing a tea would be, what am I eating? What does it taste like? And what do I want to taste in my tea? You can think of pairing a food with a tea by thinking about whether you want to accent the food or the tea. The most important element in food and tea pairing is not to drown out the flavor of a delicate tea with a spicy or strong or smoky food. The other way you can think about choosing a tea that's right for you is tea category. Okay, so what kind of categories do you have with tea? Starting at the top, you have white tea. White tea is essentially the most minimally oxidized of all the teas. White tea is delicate, it's low in caffeine, it's smooth, it's generally buttery and a little creamy. Green tea. Green tea is really one of 2 types, wok-fired or steamed. And with that, you have a little more of a grassy or a spinachy kind of flavor profile. Green tea also has less caffeine than black tea, more caffeine than white tea. Next up, we have our oolong tea, or semi-oxidized. So oolong tea is halfway between a green and a black. Some oolong teas have more caffeine than black, some have less. We try not to get into the absolutes of what tea has the most caffeine. Generally speaking, if you want some more caffeine, oolong tea has it. Especially because the leaves slowly unfurl. They continue to open up, creating a different flavor that evolves, but also releasing caffeine. That's where the caffeine continues to come out with oolong tea. Next category of tea, black tea. In China, black tea is known as red tea. So black tea is more astringent, more full-bodied, fully oxidized, and more caffeine. Black tea also ranges in flavors though, from more astringent and malty to less. There's really the whole gamut, which is actually the case with all teas. So next up we have pu-erh. Pu-erh is really not very well known in America. It's a aged tea, or really fermented tea that undergoes several different processes. It can be pile fermented and served or delivered whole leaf, or it can be aged in cakes, inside fruit, inside bamboo, packed underground, all different ways. It's a really exciting tea that we're just beginning to get into in America. And I would think about it like the blue cheese of tea, that really aged, ripe type of flavor profile. Ours here we blend with a little bit of blood orange and some ginger as well. Finally, we have something that's not tea, but it is on the tea menu, herbal infusions, or in French known as a tisane. Tisanes are really not made up of anything related to tea. They are instead leaves, berries, rinds, roots, herbs. Herbals are a category by themselves. So herbals don't have caffeine. Herbals have different medicinal properties, which any local acupuncturist or herbalist can help you about. We go for herbals before bed generally. Okay, that's the categories. So we talked about how do I pick a tea based on what you're eating, based on how you want to feel, and based on what kind of tea you want. The last way that we suggest choosing a tea is by flavor. What do you like to eat? Do you like strong, smoky, pungent, intense foods? Do you want foods that remind you of the ocean, that have a briny, grassy, oceanic, or spinach-like taste? Depending on the flavor profile you're after, you can find a tea that matches that. Jasmine Pearl, blended with jasmine flowers, it's aromatic, it's succulent, it's a little bit buttery, it has a little bit of caffeine, but it definitely is a delicate, soothing, uplifting, bright, fruity almost, floral tea. You want something more complex, something that has grassiness but also a buttery quality, perhaps a little bit of element of orchids or papaya, definitely oolong. Oolongs are known to be the connoisseur's tea because of the complexity of the flavor profiles you get. So hopefully that gives you a little better insight into how to pick a tea that's right for you. Whether you're looking to pair the tea with your mood or your food, this should give you an overview on where to start. It's really not hard at all. Additionally, we're going to be doing upcoming features on each of these teas, where they're from, how they're made, how to pair them with food. So please check out upcoming episodes of all this stuff. And if you have any questions, comments, ideas, or anything else like that, email us, come by the Tea Lounge, just contact us, and we're happy to talk about the tea, answer your questions, help you pick one that's right for you. Thanks so much for joining. I'm Jesse, and this is Samovar. See you later.